All right, I'm Andy Mack now here in the anchor chair. Thank you to my colleague Mike Pace for guiding you the last several hours. We want to turn our attention right now to Northern California after the tragedy that unfolded with a football field of snow and the avalanche taking the lives of 8 individuals, one still unaccounted for at this moment. And I want to put us up here from Fox Weather talking about dangerous conditions. Heavy snow, gusty winds continue to impact the Sierra Nevadas, creating hazardous winter weather. We're looking at this computer X-rad monitor here. You can see there the clouds, the snow still right over that region, Lake Tahoe, blanketed with snow. This comes after those backcountry skiers and professional guides caught in the deadliest avalanche in decades. So let's continue on here on Live Now from Fox. Bring into the conversation Fox weather meteorologist Bayne Froney. Bayne, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. And they might not be done getting snow in that region. What can you tell us? What's the forecast?
Yeah, exactly. We're not done quite yet. We still have a ways to go with some of this snow. It's going to be continuing for a few more hours. But, I mean, within the past couple of days, we have seen feet and feet of snow throughout the Sierra Nevada, which at one point was hardly seeing any of winter weather for throughout the majority of the past few months, and now kind of getting all of that winter weather at once. I mean, it's been just a couple of days through this week where we saw that devastation going on near Lake Tahoe. I mean, kind of giving you a better perspective, Soda Springs, 92.5 inches of snow so far from this week. I mean, that's well over 7.5 feet of snow. I mean, there's multiple areas. I mean, looking over into Sugar Bowl Resort, 78 inches in multiple spots, seeing well over 70 inches of snow within just the past couple of days. And even the southern parts of the Sierra Nevada have seen are getting close to where they normally are, the amount of snow totals that they normally see for the entire winter. And remember, they were on the lower end to start off this week. I mean, it's been incredible and crazy to see how much snow has been falling over the past, well, a couple of days. But I do want to mention more on this because the moisture that's been feeding into the state of California, obviously it's been very impactful up into the Sierra Nevada and those higher elevations. But the snow has been coming down to lower elevations too, around 1,000 feet. So folks near those passes have been having a really hard time. The roadways have been very impacted over the past week or so. And like we said, we have a little bit more on the way. It's on its way out. It's moving more towards the east, which is some good news. But at the same time, we still have a couple more hours where really heavy snow is still possible. Now, within the past 72 hours, you can see all throughout the Sierra Nevada, lots of snow. I mean, we're talking well over 48 plus inches of snow for the past 3 days. But again, even those lower elevations, still seeing a decent amount. I mean, we're talking a good 3 feet or so for some of these folks that are in those lower elevations. On top of this, too, it's a big chunk of the West Coast that's also seeing this. It's not just California, but also parts of Utah, Colorado that have been snow-starved for quite some time. So we're also seeing this impacting the Rockies, maybe not getting 8 to 10 feet of snow, but somewhere within that range. I mean, 2 to 4 feet of snow for some of these spots, especially in areas a little bit farther south into Utah, as well as into the Rockies, over into Colorado as well, just to the southern portions of Colorado, which, you know, they need this snow. It's very helpful throughout the entirety of the year, and they haven't gotten a lot of that snowpack really integrated throughout the majority of this winter. So it's helpful in some cases, but as we've seen over the past 24 hours, very scary situation for a lot of folks throughout the Sierra Nevada in California. Now, the winter storm warnings, they're still going to be in place for a little bit longer here through the rest of the day today and even moving into tomorrow, too, for some folks. We do have that winter storm warning all throughout the Sierra Nevada as well. Those areas that you see highlighted in blue here, those are winter weather advisories. So still going to be very impactful as we continue to move throughout the next day or so as this moisture continues to lead on in. Now, you'll notice this right over here, though. We do have a little bit of a drier pocket that's going to be into the southern parts of the state, which is a nice little break from all of the rain, all of the snow that we've seen moving into California. But on top of this, too, we have more of that moisture that's going to move on in. So maybe a little bit of a break as we move into this weekend, but there is that possibility of more rain and more snow into the West Coast. More on that in just a minute here. I do want to touch on what we're seeing right now because still have a couple of those isolated showers throughout the majority of the coast, a little bit farther into the southern parts of California. You can see over into Los Angeles too. My computer's kind of moving it. There we go. Now you can see a little bit more of that rain moving into Los Angeles. But on top of this too, still have a lot of that snow into the northern parts of California up towards the Sierra Nevada. And on top of this, we also have to watch out for the winds. It's been very, very gusty out there, too. So we do have high wind warnings as well as wind advisories throughout California. Wind gusts possibly up to 65 miles per hour. That continues into tonight and even into tomorrow. These are going to continue into our Friday for California, as well as into moving into portions a little bit farther inland. Now, looking into what we have going on for specifically Los Angeles, maybe not so much of the snow impact, but you can see those wind gusts. They continue on for a little bit longer here. Our temperatures remain in the low 50s, so any precip that we still have hanging around, just going to be mostly, well, rain. It's going to be nice and warm in that part, but you can see in those higher elevations a little bit of that snow trying to make a peek in as well. I mean, there's a very hilly terrain throughout the southern parts of California and through LA, so a little bit of snow possible. Very, very light though in these areas. Same goes for parts of just to the north of this, over towards Bakersfield, where again we have those mountain ranges. So that's going to be part of the Sierra Nevada where we could still see a little bit more of that snow. Now, let's talk future track. Within the next few hours, the snow pretty consistent throughout the Sierra Nevada. This is going to continue overnight and into early tomorrow, but you can see a lot of the energy. It wants to head a little bit more towards the east. So Colorado, Utah, even parts of, Arizona might get a little bit more of that snow impact, like areas like Flagstaff and those higher elevations throughout those mountain ranges. The Rockies getting a couple more inches of snow, maybe a foot or two of snow possible as we continue into the next 24 hours or so before that system moves on out of here. So a good maybe 3 to 5 more inches of snow possible throughout the Sierra Nevada over into the southern portions of Sierra Nevada. Maybe a little bit more than that, closer to a foot of snow as we continue throughout the end of the night here. But I mean, looking into what we've had so far, California, Sierra Nevada snowpack for the southern portions of the Sierra Nevada, 94%. That is a great improvement from what we saw on Monday. And I mean, even the north now starting to get about 50% of their average snowpack for average to date. So things are looking a little bit better when it comes to that snowfall. But like I said, we do have another system that is possibly on the way as a low pressure system kind of parks itself just to the northwest. And this is going to be impacting parts of Washington, as well as Oregon, and also into the northern portions of California. So more heavy snow, more heavy rain. That's going to once again be a possibility into next week. So something we're keeping a very close eye on at this point, but you can, for the most part, California has been a little bit quieter for this winter and everything kind of coming at once. It's been pretty scary, dangerous for a lot of folks, especially near the Lake Tahoe area. So still want to make sure you're staying alert, staying aware as we continue throughout the next 24 hours and moving into this weekend. Those roadways still going to be very, very dangerous to be on. And of course, that visibility is going to be on the lower end too, just because of all of those winds. I'll send it back to you.
A lot of snow in a very short amount of time, and kind of like your computer there, your system there, this is lingering, this is lagging in that region in Northern California. I want to ask you my question before I let you go, talking about some of the snow totals, but the moisture mixing with cold weathers. How cold is it, and how does that combination bode for these huge snow totals?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you can kind of see where the temperatures in those higher elevations, they're a lot cooler, hence why we see the rain transitioning into snow into those higher elevations. And it's a pretty sharp cutoff too. So those temperatures are going to be well below freezing. And on top of this, that's when we get into the talk about snow ratios. So when we have temperatures that are slightly closer to that freezing point, around 32 degrees, we tend to see a snow ratio of 10 to 1, which means for every 1 inch of liquid, we see about 10 inches of snow. But if you have a lot cooler temperatures, maybe closer into the teens, into the 20s, you actually have higher snow ratios. So you get a lot more snow with just the same amount of moisture content. So we had a lot of snow that rolled on through with the same amount of moisture content. So these temperatures, they're pretty chilly, which is helpful with making a lot of snow all at once. And on top of this, the snow consistency a little bit more powdery, so it's not as wet of snow that you usually see when we have those temperatures closer to that 32-degree mark.
Yeah, that's a good explainer. All right, Bayne, Froney, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. Great job with the forecast. We'll keep an eye on everything in those systems kind of moving through the second one in California and then beyond into the kind of moving to the Rockies. Thanks again for joining us.
All right. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. All right, great conversation as always here on Live Now from Fox. Our Fox Weather team doing a great job covering it all as the tragedy that unfolded there, as those backcountry skiers trapped in that region, one of the deadliest avalanches in U.S. history. And they're also expecting more on the way. Robert Ray there, we spoke to him in South Lake Tahoe near the Truckee area, saying another round of snow in the Sierra Mountains today as we search for a missing skier caught in that avalanche on Tuesday. Guides and their tour company knew about the warnings and risks from a powerful winter storm that blasted the mountains during the trip, and why they pressed on is now part of an investigation into Tuesday's avalanche that killed 8 people. 6 survived the disaster.